Welcome to Module 2, the gains from trade. It comes as a surprise to a lot of people, especially, which is surprising actually in itself because most of us are heavily involved in trade. I know I don't make my own bread. I get it from the store. I don't make my own clothes. I buy it from, well, another store. I don't build my own car. I don't refine my own gas. I don't grow my own food. Most of us, we consume very little, or I should say, we produce very little of what we consume. Somebody else produces it. How does that work? Well, through specialization and exchange. It involves uh, opportunity costs, trade-offs, and we're going to talk about all that. Okay? Well, first things first here. We've got a discussion, and well, you click on that and notice that it says click create thread on the next page to post your comments. And there's instructions there. So I will, I guess, confess. I better confess a few things. As a college student myself, there were two things I absolutely hated. Absolutely hated. One was class discussions, and another was working in groups. And I know some of you love those things. I mean, that's what it's all about. The class discussions I hated the most were the ones where the professor would actually write down if you participated. So every time someone said something, they would make a note. Oh man, when we saw that note. And you know what happened? The biggest bunch of nonsense. I mean, because everybody wanted to talk. Everybody wanted to say something because he was making a note. And so people were saying stuff just to say stuff. And I don't know. I thought it was a disaster. But anyway, and working in groups. Oh, never been more bored in my life. But I actually, some of them were fine. Were fine. But group projects, I mean, I like the definition of a horse. A camel is a horse designed by committee. I mean, that's kind of how I see things. Okay, so I've confessed. I've confessed. So yes, we do have discussions in the class. Yes, I think it makes the class more social. I don't know if it does anything beyond that. I know it makes the class more fun. I get it, and the only reason they're in there is because a few about I don't know, started teaching online 10, 15 years ago. The director of online training or whatever that time practically begged me to put them in. And I'm one who thinks that just because the technology makes it possible, it doesn't mean it's the best thing to do. Another problem I have with it, and that reminds me, when I took over the online teaching here, the guy before me, he was actually a vice president of the college, and I quickly learned after taking over, because I got his students in the next class, that they didn't do anything. They learned no economics. Why? Because all they did was do discussions. Because everyone's excited about all the potential for discussions. Oh, we can discuss. Well, he just did his vice president's job and didn't do any teaching. These students literally didn't know. They were experts in everybody's opinion, but they knew no economics. So you can take things too far. Okay, I admit not having any discussions would be a bad thing. having too many discussions are a bad thing. So I'm trying to hit the sweet spot, and I admit I don't count them much in the grading. As you can see, they're worth about 10% of the grade, and if you participate, and if you make reasonably good observations and comments and whatever, I pretty much just give you full credit for that. So there's my thoughts on discussions. Okay. All right. So anyway. So there's our first discussion, and most of them will be just tell me what's on your mind. Frankly, it makes it more interesting for me. Uh, some of them are guided, but anyway, enough of that. Lectures. Okay, what do we got here? Warning, warning, warning. Make sure you watch that or read that. Um, I put that there because some of you have gone through stop signs going 80 miles per hour, and this is my last chance to grab some of you. But read that. That gives you some tips. Again, some powerful tips on how to best approach this course. And warnings, a couple of warnings. Actually, 3 warnings. There's 1, 2, 3. Okay, video lectures, some good stuff, good, short and sweet about opportunity cost. I think you'll enjoy this opportunity cost wrap, and about specialization and international trade. See, when people think of trade, they automatically think of international trade. But as I point out in this other lecture, why trade? The economics of trade doesn't change when we cross borders. The economics of international trade is exactly the same as the economics of trading with your local grocery store. But the politics changes when you cross international lines. That's the difference. Trade is good. I've never heard that before. Boy, I hear that a lot. So a little bit of that. Yes, we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't do it. Nobody points a gun at your head to go to the store, right? We wouldn't do it if it didn't make us better off. Okay, hearts and heads. If you think by boycotting the products that the world's poor produces overseas, if you think you're making them better off, better think again. The alternative is often far worse. Okay. Well, then there's our MindTap link to go read the chapter. Oh, well, homework. I'd tell you what to do. Well, let me walk through it. I'm not going to be this. Don't worry. I'm not going to do all this in every single module. Naked Economics, read chapter 1. Again, highly recommended. Students have raved about this. It really helps them understand the principles involved. And chapter 3 in MindTap. And then I've got some extra help there where I go through and work a problem. I talk about, I guess I didn't click it. Absolute advantage, comparative advantage, 2 key principles in understanding trade, the terms of trade, consumption possibilities, piece by piece by piece. I go through that. Those are some of the areas that students find difficult. And I've posted the first chapter or 2 of Naked Economics. And here, here's the regular download. Okay, but I also did this Beeline Reader. I'm curious what you think of that. It's supposed to make reading easier, better. I don't know. I'm just curious. If you want to take a look at that, I would be interested in your thoughts. Okay, that is it for Module 2. I think you're good to go. Again, feel free to ask questions. You know how to do it. It's right over here in the messages. And I'll see you later in Module 3.